Attention, unicorn lovers! Today's story is about a unicorn prince who will truly touch your heart. So, if you enjoy the story, don't forget to like the video and subscribe to the channel. High above the drifting clouds, far beyond the edges of human imagination, there was a secret kingdom floating in the endless blue sky. It was a forest unlike any other, a living dream woven with magic. The trees stood tall and silver green, their leaves glowing softly like captured moonlight. Flowers grew in colors that did not exist anywhere on earth. Violet with gold veins, blue petals that shone like crystal, blossoms that hummed with enchantment. Rivers curved through the landscape like luminous threads, their waters clear enough to reflect the stars even during the day. This magical forest had one protector, a graceful, gentle, emerald-winged fairy named Pippen Leaf. Pippen Leaf lived in a charming cottage made from living vines and woven branches, covered with soft moss and tiny bell-shaped flowers that rang whenever the breeze passed by. Her garden was a paradise of glowing mushrooms, floating blossoms, and little dust sprites that slept in curled leaves. Every morning, the rabbits, the little birds, and the tiny fairies come to wake Pippen Leaf. Wake up, Pippen Leaf. The forest awaits your magic. And every morning, with sleepy eyes and a bright smile, she stepped outside, lifted her shimmering wand, and cast her blessings. Instantly, light burst across the treetops like dawn being born anew. Flowers blossomed with a gentle gasp of color. Butterflies spun into the sky like living jewels. The rivers brightened, singing merry songs as they flowed. The whole forest awakened under her touch. To the creatures of the floating kingdom, Pippen Leaf was not just a guardian. She was hope, happiness, and spring itself. But while her world lived in eternal harmony, another place, hidden far beneath the mountains of the earth, simmered with darkness. Deep under the earth, past tunnels of ice and stone, lay a vast black palace where lived the cruel, greedy magician Magnor. Magnor had lived for centuries. He had seen kingdoms rise and fall. He had learned forbidden magic, traded pieces of his soul, and made deals with shadows. And yet, the one thing he feared most was to look his true age. Magnor appeared young, strikingly handsome, in fact. His long, dark hair fell like polished black silk. His skin was smooth, his jaw sharp, his eyes a stormy grey that often mesmerized anyone who looked into them. But behind his beauty lived a twisted, hungry heart. Magnor's terrible secret was a cursed mirror. A mirror that could locate young, beautiful women anywhere in the world. When he married them, the mirror performed its dark ritual. Their youth and beauty were drained instantly into him. He became young again, while the bride turned old in a heartbeat. Magnor had already done this to 3 wives, who now worked as his maids. Once beautiful, full of life and dreams, they had been reduced to shadows of their former selves. Their faces wrinkled, their hair dull, their bodies weak, and Magnor treated them with nothing but cruelty. You call this food? What is this garbage? Use the broom on your own faces, maybe that will help. You 3 are useless. And they had no escape, because the entrance of the palace was blocked by a massive magical stone. a stone only Magnor could move. But Magnor's cruelty did not end there. Years ago, he had kidnapped a fairy child from the sky world and turned him into a majestic unicorn. This unicorn, named Darion, had wings like polished silver and a horn that glowed faintly with imprisoned fairy magic. Darion was Magnor's flying mount, forced to carry him across the world on long, endless journeys. One day, while Magnor was admiring his reflection in the cursed mirror, something horrifying happened. A tiny wrinkle appeared under his right eye. He said, "No, no, no!" His voice shook with rage. "This cannot be happening. Mirror, explain." The mirror's voice echoed coldly. "Your youth is fading. Only I can help you. But this time, the solution is not simple." Magnor clenched his fists. "What must I do?" "You must marry again." Magnor roared. "Again? These three have already destroyed my peace, and you expect me to bring another one?" The mirror spoke with a strange calm. "This time, not a human girl. You need a fairy. Fairies do not age. If you marry one, you will remain young forever." Magnor paused. A greedy smile stretched across his face. "A fairy, show me." The mirror shimmered and revealed the image of the Green Fairy, standing by a river with sunlight caught in her wings. He said, "So beautiful, perfect." One peaceful morning, Pippen Leaf sat by the shimmering river with her forest friends, a tiny fox cub, 2 glowing hummingbirds, and a little cloud sprite who bounced happily near her feet. They were laughing, splashing, and enjoying the gentle sunlight. Suddenly, a swirl of black smoke erupted behind her. Before she could react, the smoke wrapped around her like a serpent. The forest faded from her eyes. Her friends screamed her name, and then everything went silent. In an instant, she found herself on a beautiful bed in a stunningly gorgeous room, bathed in warm light and surrounded by elegant decor. Her heart pounded. Where was she? What had happened? A slow knock sounded at the door. An elderly woman entered, her back bent, her hands trembling as she carried a tray of food. "Eat quickly, dear fairy, before Magnor comes. Please, he must not find you hungry." "Magnor?" Pippen Leaf whispered. "Who is Magnor? Where am I?" Another old woman peeked inside. "Don't ask questions now. Just eat, child. He becomes angry easily." Before Pippen Leaf could reply, the door swung open, and Magnor entered. Tall, beautiful, dangerous. He said, "Oh, you are awake, my glowing little fairy," he said softly. "I am Magnor, your humble admirer. My palace is yours. Allow me the honor of marrying you." Pippen Leaf stiffened. "Marry you? But where are those women?" Magnor's smile faded. "Maids," he said sharply. Nothing more. The 3 women flinched as he shouted at them. "Out! You are embarrassing yourselves." The door slammed. Pippen Leaf felt her wings tremble with unease. 3 lonely days passed. No one entered her room. Every window was sealed with dark magic. Then, one night, the bravest of the 3 wives quietly slipped in with fruits. She said, "Eat, dear fairy," she whispered, "and listen carefully. Do not accept Magnor's marriage proposal." "Why?" Pippen Leaf asked softly. "What does he gain?" The other two wives entered and began speaking in hurried whispers. "He marries women to steal their youth. He drains their beauty into himself. He turns them old within seconds. And then he throws them away. Now he needs a fairy," the bravest one added, "because fairies do not age. If he marries you, he will stay young forever." Pippen Leaf felt her entire body turn cold. "Is there a way to stop him?" she asked. "There is," the wives said together, "but it is dangerous." Then they told the fairy all the details clearly. The three wives told Pippen Leaf that there is a secret room with a magical mirror. They said, if you replace it with the mirror in Magnor's room, then whenever Magnor looks into it, he will be trapped in the mirror forever. A unicorn can help you with this task. That night, after Magnor returned from a long journey, Darion landed in the palace courtyard. His wings tired, his heart heavy. With the wives as guides, Pippen Leaf sneaked out to the stables. The moment Darion saw her, his deep silver eyes widened. He bowed his head to her, recognizing her magic, her goodness, her purity. Pippen Leaf gently placed her hand on his mane. "You are not meant to be a unicorn," she whispered. "You were once a fairy child, stolen from the sky world. Help me stop Magnor. Free yourself and everyone else." Darion nodded. Pippen Leaf used the last spark of her magic to awaken the ancient fairy energy within him. His horn glowed bright gold, like a key forged by the sun. "That horn can open the secret room," one wife whispered. "There lies the second mirror, Magnor's fate mirror. Destroy it, and his power dies forever." Darion led Pippen Leaf to a hidden stone door. He lowered his glowing horn. The wall rippled, then dissolved. Inside the room stood a mirror covered in red cloth. "That is the one," Darion whispered. Pippen Leaf wrapped the mirror carefully and carried it to Magnor's chamber. She first took down the old mirror and then put up a new one in its place. When Magnor entered his chamber at dawn, he immediately noticed a cloth draped over his precious mirror. "Who touched my mirror?" he snarled. "Those foolish witches." He yanked the cloth off with a dramatic flourish. "Let me admire my beautiful—" His voice cracked. As soon as he looked into the mirror, instead of her young face, Magnor saw her aged face. Magnor fell to his knees. Magnor screamed louder. He became an old man. A vortex of magic exploded from the glass, pulling him inside. He clawed at the edges, but it was too late. The mirror swallowed him whole and shattered. The entire palace trembled. The magical stone at the entrance cracked open. Darkness lifted like a dying storm. The three wives transformed back into their youthful selves. Darion shed his unicorn form and returned to a beautiful fairy prince with silver wings. Pippen Leaf stepped outside into the first fresh air she had breathed in days. Magnor was gone, forever trapped inside the broken mirror. Pippen Leaf, Darion, journeyed back to the floating forest in the sky. When they arrived, the forest erupted in joy, trees glowing, rivers singing, blossoms opening in spirals of colors. Darion was welcomed home as the lost unicorn prince, heir of the Cloud Kingdom. And Pippen Leaf, gentle, kind, endlessly brave Pippen Leaf, became celebrated as the fairy who defeated a centuries-old monster. Spring returned in full bloom. The floating forest thrived again. And a new chapter began in the Sky Kingdom.